Hi, today we're talking about ways to stay connected to your adult transgender child. So, staying connected to your child can be a little challenging as they become an adult. Um, as your child grows older, there is a natural progression of moving away from being an active controlling parent. And I say controlling as in you have control over aspects of their life, right? You make decisions for them. You have control over their health care. You get to decide about their um, education and their food and like from that active parenting role, right, to a more of a supportive role, right? They are having more autonomy over their lives as they grow older, and they are taking control of their life as a adult, right? From like that teenage to young adult age frame. And so, as a parent, we have to step back and we have to think about ways that we're going to communicate with our children that also respect their need for control over their lives and boundaries for their time and their situation, while also wanting to connect with them and support them and show them that, we love them and that we're here for them. And it can be a fine balance of wanting to stay connected with them and also being too connected to them and being overbearing is not the word that I'm looking for, but let's use overbearing because it's a word that kind of fits, right? You don't want to be too burdensome and you don't want to be too connected so that they feel like you're smothering them. Smothering is the word that I was thinking of. Um, so there's that, right? You want to have good boundaries. You want to have time boundaries, right? You want to respect their time in the same way that you would want them to respect your time, right? You don't want them to be constantly calling or texting or intruding into your time and space in the same way that they don't want that from you either. And so, how we stay connected to our children is a matter of respect and of having good, healthy boundaries. And so, it looks different depending on where your child is. Are they still living at home with you? Are they living away from you? Do they have their own place? Are they still in your general area, right? Can you pop over to see them? Do you have to take a plane to see them? And what you want to think about is if they're still at home with you, is still having good boundaries, right? Maybe you leave a note for them on the counter before you go to work or before they go to work. It's just like, hi, thinking of you, have a good day, right? So you're not constantly peppering them with questions like, where are you going? How was your day? Like those kind of questions that you would ask them when they were younger because you were still in more of an active role in their lives. Now you're two adults living in the same space, but also you need to have separate lives in the same space, right? So maybe you set up like a weekly time to chat, just to check in, like how are you doing? What's new? The same way that you could set up a weekly call with your adult child who's living away from you. And it could be, through text or a phone call or a video call. And a week may be too often for some people. You may set up every other week or once a month, and it depends on you and your person and what you together decide is the appropriate amount of time to have a check-in kind of a conversation. And some people are okay with more frequent conversations. I know people who have daily conversations, and that's okay for them. And it all depends on what you feel is your comfort level for having that kind of communication. Some people feel like every day is too often. And some people are like, I can't imagine not talking to my person every day. And some people feel like once a week is too often. And so it's up to you to decide together, like, what is the amount of communication that we feel is appropriate, or maybe you just let it be organic. And we're like, well, you know what? When we have time and we can do the thing, then we will let it happen. Or we'll just send a text and be like, hey, do you have time for a chat? And if the time works, then that's great. And you just have a chat or a call or whatever, and don't stress out and worry about it. So it's about making time, and it's about respecting boundaries, and about having allowing your child to have autonomy for their lives, and to be in control, and to step back as a parent, and to be more in a support position for your child. And I think that covers all the things that I had on my mind about this. So if you have any questions or any comments or thoughts, feel free to share them, and we will talk again soon.